I know we had a lot of fun shooting it, and we were all excited about the cars, and we were all having fun and trying some things, so it should come across, and I think it'll be a great summer movie, you know, just fun.
Fans have been speculating about the reasons for Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton's brief courtship and abrupt divorce for years. The couple captivated the Globe's attention with their passionate and unique connection. However, what caused them to part ways after only 3 years of marriage? 20 years later, Thornton finally speaks up and discloses the real reason behind the split. Was it something more sinister than their hectic schedules? Stay tuned as we uncover the truth about one of the most talked about divorces in Hollywood and hear from Billy Bob today. The instant connection. Everyone could see Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie's chemistry when they were filming Pushing Tin in 1999, which marked the beginning of their relationship. Their whirlwind affair resulted from their mutual curiosity, despite their 20-year age difference. Jolie's spirit of adventure appealed to Thornton, and she appreciated his depth and inventiveness. Despite having different lifestyles and pasts, their love for one another went beyond social conventions. This strong attraction led to their marriage the following year, marked by unusual expressions of love like the well-reported blood vials. Despite being out of the ordinary, these actions conveyed a genuine and unfiltered connection between them. Their frequent public appearances stoked a media frenzy by depicting two disparate individuals forming a life together. It was a connection that appeared to flourish on impromptu decisions and a touch of rebellion against conventional celebrity partnerships. Their early romance was sometimes characterized as excessively consuming, and they both contributed a bright edge to what soon became one of Hollywood's most talked-about love tales. Public persona versus private lives. Beneath their captivating public personas, the intricacies of their personal life unraveled as their relationship grew longer. Angelina Jolie was well known for her audacious adventures and unwavering pursuit of worthwhile causes, frequently taking her worldwide. On the other hand, Billy Bob Thornton preferred more reflective and subdued activities and felt most at ease in less flashy environments. He publicly admitted that his desire for a simpler, more isolated life occasionally clashed with Jolie's exuberance. When in love, these distinctions became more evident in private and seldom showed up in public, indicating different aspirations and wants. Their marriage was strained due to this underlying disagreement, since Thornton frequently believed that Jolie's enthusiasm eclipsed his own. He has fiercely acknowledged that although their different personalities drew them together at first, with time those same characteristics gradually distanced them from one another, making them face the possibility that they would have made better friends than life partners. Professional demands and distance. Thornton and Jolie found themselves battling the challenges of a hard industry that frequently kept them apart as their reputations continued to skyrocket. Jolie's dedication to movies, such as Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, necessitated her to travel widely and inhabit her characters. Thornton's job included assignments that kept him physically apart from others as this happened. They were finding it difficult to sustain the intimacy that had first brought them together, which created serious emotional difficulties. When Thornton looks back on this period, he admits that neither of them was fully prepared to make the required sacrifices due to the nature of their employment. They continued to encourage each other's goals, but bridging the ongoing emotional and geographic distance between them was tough. Each was dedicated to achieving their personal and professional goals, ultimately resulting in losing intimate and shared experiences. More than any one incident, the distance between them brought attention to the difficulties of juggling two prominent occupations, eventually resulting in an irreversible rift. Communication barriers. Strong relationships are built on effective communication. For Thornton and Jolie, this was one area where communication problems surfaced. Thornton acknowledges that despite their strong link, miscommunication and unstated expectations started to cause problems in their marriage. It was hard for them to agree on issues related to their personal and married lives, since they were not used to talking in depth about their deepest aspirations and worries. Misunderstandings resulted from a lack of time and opportunities for meaningful communication as their professions progressed. Thornton thought that the unsaid words and difficult conversations they avoided finally hurt their partnership. As is sometimes the case in high-stakes partnerships, explicit verbal exchanges were substituted by assumed understanding, which caused each party to function with differing presumptions and objectives. Even minor arguments were made worse by these communication gaps, which initially may have seemed insignificant, but eventually became substantial obstacles. As of late, Thornton has acknowledged that by identifying and resolving these communication problems, they may have been able to avoid developing arguments, highlighting the significant influence that open communication may have had on preserving their marriage. Constant media pressure. One of the worst things about their marriage was having to live under the media scrutiny all the time. Being a well-known Hollywood couple, the tabloids eagerly followed and frequently inflated every action and gesture made by Thornton and Jolie. The increased scrutiny put their relationship under unnecessary stress and strain, resulting in miscommunications and unwarranted conflicts. Thornton has observed that the media's constant narrative occasionally presented a skewed picture of their lives together and that public perception does not always mirror private realities. The actors' interactions occasionally suffered from their intense awareness of how their private lives had turned into public spectacles. This outside pressure frequently obscured their sincere bond and sensationalized stories competing for clicks instead of the real story cluttered their married conversation. The ongoing interference hindered their capacity to create a genuine personal space for their connection, adding to the strain of an already tricky union. Cultural disparities. Although Jolie and Thornton were well known in Hollywood, their upbringings significantly impacted their relationships and worldviews. With his Southern upbringing, Thornton had ideals and lifestyle views different from Jolie's more expansive, globally impacted upbringing. Jolie had a worldview perspective on the world because of her parents' significant Hollywood influence and the hectic lifestyle of growing up in the spotlight. She adopted this expansive viewpoint in both her personal and professional life. Thornton's preferences stayed more in line with the conventional American story, occasionally contradicting Jolie's desires for a more sophisticated way of life. Their different cultural backgrounds frequently developed into subliminal undercurrents that scrutinized their family planning, community, and way of life, thus altering their marital dynamic. These innate contrasts, though at first appealing and exciting, progressively developed into essential differences that were difficult to ignore in their pursuit of a common life. Unresolved personal issues. Personal problems are a burden in any relationship, but for Thornton and Jolie, they were especially severe. In the face of outside pressure, the performers found it difficult to reconcile the unresolved emotional and psychological problems that each of them carried into the marriage. Thornton had spoken up about his struggles with self-worth and insecurity. These disclosures exposed a level of vulnerability that was not immediately visible to the outside world. Jolie also faced challenges related to her mental health and her family, which further complicated their shared life. Despite the mounting stress, the pair frequently turned to one another for comfort and were open about their issues. However, accumulating unsolved issues made marriages less harmonious and made it difficult for them to build a future together. Thornton remembers how their marriage may have healed if they had been more critical of themselves and accepted their issues. Regretfully, the combination of marital responsibilities and personal anguish proved too big of a challenge to overcome over time. Why he divorced Angelina Jolie. Billy Bob Thornton has disclosed that lifestyle differences, rather than love, were the primary cause of his breakup with Angelina Jolie. Thornton said that although they shared much affection, their lifestyle preferences were not in sync. Jolie was lured to public appearances in the limelight because she adopted a more international lifestyle and was frequently involved in charitable work. Thornton, on the other hand, favored living in solitude and silence. He said he didn't feel at ease in the spotlight of being married to a celebrity like Jolie. Thornton made it clear in several interviews that there was no ill will or hatred between them, saying they remained friends and respected one another. Rather than a lack of love or other personal problems, their breakup was due to their growing distance from one another over their divergent perspectives on fame and lifestyle. Respect and acceptance. Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie have both talked positively about respect in the years after their split, which is the foundation of their current partnership. Thornton frequently says how much he admires Jolie's character and talents, pointing out that they're still close friends who treat each other respectfully after their marriage ended. Their story of connection serves as evidence that respect and acceptance for one another can survive marriage difficulties and provide a basis for ongoing appreciation without romantic attachment. According to Thornton, personal development enables individuals to reflect on the past with nostalgia rather than bitterness. Both have emphasized how their ability to accept and forgive one another's prior disputes allowed them to move on constructively. This regard has touched their success, demonstrating how sincere acceptance can build strong friendships even after a divorce. It's a story that demonstrates maturity and emphasizes that deep connections don't always require a romantic relationship to last. Life after divorce. Following their divorce, Thornton and Jolie's respective trajectories demonstrate their tenacity and desire to pursue their goals. Jolie increased her impact in the film and charity industries by embracing her roles as a mother and a humanitarian. Her passion initiatives, such as supporting refugees and global health, changed the direction of her life. Similarly, Thornton kept developing his artistic abilities, participating in important film and television projects, and contributing to music, a passion he shared with acting. Their post-divorce achievements demonstrate how each has used their separation to propel personal development and success, succeeding in their different fields on a professional and personal level. They gave evidence that emphasizing personal growth and novel experiences could make life after a well-publicized marriage just as fulfilling, if not more so. Even though marriage marked a big turning point in their life, it eventually served as a reminder of the value of personal journeys, which empowered them both to seize opportunities in the future with newfound enthusiasm and zeal. The family factor. A major factor in the final breakup of Jolie and Thornton's marriage was family problems. Jolie was preparing herself for a life of heavy family duties, with her dedication to growing her family through adoption and raising children. Jolie's early desire to start a family did not coincide with Thornton's then reserved approach to family life. Their differing visions of their future families frequently caused emotional and practical difficulties, making it difficult for them to put on a united face as parents. Thornton was in a different stage and ready for that kind of responsibility, even if he appreciated Jolie's commitment to helping the world's less impoverished children. This disparity in family planning was a sign of distinct life milestones and reflected greater disparities in their future objectives rather than being a major source of conflict per se. An important clue led them to split up because it suggested incompatible future directions. Personal growth and reflection. When Thornton thinks back on their marriage, he frequently highlights how it acted as a catalyst to profound personal development. In addition to being a romantic partnership, this relationship changed him and gave him new perspectives on life and love. Thornton recognized in Jolie a partner who forced him to think critically and creatively, leading him to examine his motivations and worldview. Through their experiences together, he understood love, friendship, and self-awareness on new levels. Thornton was inspired to explore previously unexplored aspects of himself by Jolie's optimistic outlook on life. Speaking appreciatively about the growth he underwent due to his marriage's highs and lows, he emphasized how these events influenced his perspective. Thornton learned the value of partnerships based on mutual growth and the significance of keeping true to oneself during their time together. This resulted in an amicable divorce and an intense love that would permanently intertwine their lives as significant chapters in each other's histories. Misinterpretation of reality by the media. Even though their marriage ended happily, media representations of Thornton and Jolie were often over the top. Headlines frequently distorted stories, turning real-life disputes into imaginary ones. According to Thornton, the media distorted their marriage, exaggerating little arguments and portraying them as serious problems. However, he and Jolie have stated that these false narratives don't reflect the true love and friendship underpinning their relationship. Thornton emphasizes how media narratives frequently obscure complex facts in the pursuit of compelling stories rather than the truth. Thoughts of Jolie are still mainly grateful and positive, emphasizing the strength of their relationship rather than its difficulties. The true feelings and growth they shared during their marriage were not dampened by misinterpretations, which were frequently deceptive. Reminding viewers that the genuine dynamics of intimate relationships are frequently far deeper than what's depicted in public, and that the substance of an enduring connection resides beyond reported headlines, highlights the difficulty of upholding truth narratives in the face of public scrutiny. Balancing fame and relationship. Thornton and Jolie found it difficult to juggle the obligations of a loving relationship with the demands of celebrity. Their marriage found it challenging to maintain normalcy in the face of the ceaseless onslaught of paparazzi, intense media scrutiny, and public attention. Thornton has discussed how the weight of always living under a microscope made decisions and interactions in their relationship that would have been straightforward but otherwise difficult. They frequently had to balance their personal and professional commitments, which often gave way to the demands of public life. Sometimes the need to present an idealized relationship to the public resulted in difficulties concealed behind their public personas. Though on different paths, Thornton and Jolie accepted their celebrity with fortitude and frequently engaged in artistic endeavors promoting personal development. Because they had to balance their celebrity status together, they eventually realized how important it was to put their relationships and well-being above public appearances. This meant that even though their careers took up a lot of time and energy, developing personal fulfillment was still necessary for true happiness. Aspiring for personal fulfillment. Thornton and Jolie realized they pursued distinct avenues for personal fulfillment as their marriage developed. This knowledge became a fundamental insight that led to their mutually agreeable divorce. Jolie modeled her life on advocacy and service, leading her to undertake much humanitarian work. Thornton's interests in acting and music, among other creative endeavors, remained a part of his quest for introspection away from international activity. They both acknowledged that there were areas of improvement in their personal and professional trajectories that did not fully overlap, which sparked conversations about honestly reviewing goals in life. Their different areas of interest allowed them to see the breadth of the changes ahead and realize that sometimes taking different pathways can lead to the best opportunity for realizing one's potential. Ultimately, their joint decision, based on the awareness of different ambitions, fostering enjoyment and growth for both, rather than compromise or discontentment, allowed their spirit to be filled with respect rather than pain. This was made possible by their knowledge of the value of individual satisfaction. Mutual admiration. Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie have retained a mutual affection, highlighting the richness and complexity of their common past, even after their romantic connection ended. Thornton has always expressed his admiration for Jolie's extraordinary acting prowess and her commitment to humanitarian causes. Their post-marriage interaction shows that adoration may endure and even grow into a solid foundation for supporting friendship despite the collapse of a marriage. Jolie acknowledges Thornton's artistic genius and openness and respects his continuous contributions to music and film. Recognizing each other's abilities, contributions to the world, and skills is the foundation of this growing friendship. It reminds us that true admiration endures without romantic involvement, building a bridge over old grudges and difficulties. By viewing things through this lens, they have both managed to enjoy their shared past without obsessing over the past, making room for a more complex and nuanced connection that goes beyond the parameters of their prior marriage. Change in life perspectives. Thornton and Jolie's divergent outlooks on life eventually became glaringly obvious, radically altering the story of their relationship. Jolie's commitment to adopting children, philanthropy, and addressing global concerns, demonstrated a worldview centered on social transformation and the common good. Thornton, on the other hand, took a more private and introspective path, emphasizing silent reflection and artistic investigation. Although initially complementary and enlightening, these shifting life perspectives diverged as they developed into their missions. Their changing perspectives showed larger aspirations and objectives beyond one another, a typical development when people mature and refocus. Thornton acknowledges these shifts and stresses the need to let partners develop independently, recognizing the necessity of privacy and thoughtfulness in life's shifting trajectories. Their differences in viewpoints might have played a part in their breakup. Still, they accepted these changes and valued individuality. They ultimately guided each other down pathways that enriched them both, rather than pressuring them to converge in ways that weren't meant to happen. Impact on future relationships. The lessons and experiences that Jolie and Thornton gained throughout their marriage greatly influenced their later partnerships. Finding partners who either share or accept their individual views and life goals is becoming increasingly important, and it's crucial for both to understand the subtleties of compatibility. Their approach to future partnerships has significantly been influenced by the vital insights they've gained from their relationship struggles, triumphs, and failures. They now prioritize mutual respect, communication, and shared values more than fleeting relationships, which has a discernible effect on their relationships with new partners. In particular, Thornton has seen this insight come to fruition in fostering artistic connections in addition to romantic pursuits, striking a balance between shared love and art. In the same vein, Jolie has persisted in realigning her life with her humanitarian ideals, attracting companions who share her vision and encourage her missions. These partnerships, shaped by their histories, show how people evolve as they look for mature, well-rounded relationships based on mutual understanding and goals. Overcoming marital challenges. The happy ending to Thornton and Jolie's marriage offers a crucial story of managing and conquering obstacles in the spotlight during a marriage. Their marital journey captures deep emotional intricacies and highlights the nuances necessary to managing marriages in the face of public scrutiny. According to Thornton, these difficulties led to the development of essential life lessons like tolerance, compromise, and forgiveness. Both performers tried to maintain awareness of their interpersonal dynamics and treat complaints respectfully and sincerely. Even though they ultimately decided to take different routes, their narrative is one of perseverance and progress, demonstrating the possibility of good change from hardship. This trip serves as a reminder of how crucial it is to confront difficulties head-on, promote honest communication, and assist one another's personal development, fundamental principles that have the power to reinvigorate or redefine relationships. They've paved the way for others to follow by being willing to learn and adjust. They've demonstrated that hardships can result in enduring friendship rather than resentment, and have provided positive ways in partnerships. Philosophies on love and commitment. In light of their connection, Thornton explains how his marriage to Jolie led to new ideas about love and devotion. As his understanding grew, he saw love as a complex feeling beyond passion, including respect, common interests, and encouragement of individuality. Despite its brief duration, their marriage had a big impact on his decision to reconsider how he interacts with partnerships. According to Thornton, genuine compatibility survives on balanced support for disparate goals rather than utter sameness. According to him, commitment is valuing individual autonomy while fostering shared aspirations. Philosophy has evolved, realizing that commitment, not love, keeps relationships going when paths diverge. Similar to how Jolie's path exemplifies these ideas, it encourages love and well-being while honoring her humanitarian goals. The philosophical insights of both actors provide empowering narratives that show love can coexist with development, change, and mutual support. They also provide a picture of partnerships that go beyond conventional boundaries and celebrate each person's potential to the fullest. Exploring new horizons. Following their divorces, Thornton and Jolie explored new options, enabling them to redefine their personal and professional boundaries. Thornton pursued parts that pushed him and encouraged his band's artistic growth as he dug deeper into music and movies. His efforts show a desire to investigate creative liberties uninhibited by popular culture. Deepening her commitment to humanitarianism, Jolie took on roles directly related to current social challenges in front of and behind the camera. Her directing endeavors combine advocacy with art, showcasing unconventional stories that Hollywood frequently ignores. This journey represents their flexibility, demonstrating resiliency via ongoing self-improvement. Both have taken advantage of prior knowledge to further their post-marriage growth, boldly going for unknown avenues that feed their satisfaction. Through these travels, Thornton and Jolie have developed in new ways and explored new facets of their identities and possibilities. It's evidence of utilizing the transforming power of life, stressing ambition and resiliency while looking to the future. Understanding individuality in relationships. As they traveled through their marriage, Thornton understood the important role that individuality plays in relationships, a lesson he would bring into other marriages. Billy Bob Thornton changed his perspective on partnership dynamics and his attitude to partnerships after realizing the value of individuality. He found that the foundation of a strong relationship is honoring each partner's goals and objectives. This insight emphasizes that although unity is necessary, respecting individuality and autonomy makes unity thrive. Individuality-friendly relationships foster compassionate development, where each partner values their unique talents instead of suppressing them. Thornton's strategy is informed by this understanding, which emphasizes how respect for individual goals and differences creates a strong foundation for a relationship. It expresses his views on unions and partnerships in which love and support coexist with independence and discovery. Along with Jolie, they've communicated that supporting individualism within shared narratives plays a major role in balancing relationships, allowing areas for individual fulfillment within group happiness, paving the road for understanding and inspiration. Lessons learned from their union. Thornton and Jolie's marriage and subsequent divorce yielded many insightful lessons that they carried into new stages of their lives. Thornton is thankful for these lessons learned and values the realization that made him rethink relationships. The knowledge of compromise, which demonstrates how balancing individual goals with shared obligations improves partnerships, is paramount among these teachings. Furthermore, stressing communication and sympathetic participation emphasizes how critical it is to work together to overcome obstacles. These realizations influence day-to-day interactions, fostering a culture of cooperation based on respect for one another and ongoing development. On their paths, both performers describe how accepting the dynamic nature of love turns misfortune into teaching moments that lead to character development, despite obstacles faced. They're excellent examples of learning opportunities arising from achievements and setbacks, empowering others to approach relationships with honesty, expectation, log settlement, and pragmatic views toward advancement. These insightful teachings highlight their experiences and motivate partnerships that foster individual and group flourishing. Support systems. Jolie and Thornton were very dependent on their support networks during and after their relationship, demonstrating the significant impact that friends, family, and partners may have on the healing process. The performers were assisted in navigating the difficult emotional terrain and public scrutiny by friends and advisors who offered crucial guidance and comfort. Thornton has noted how these structures evolved as strongholds that provided direction and context in tumultuous times. Similarly, Jolie reached out to her circle of friends and family, her kids, and her partners in charity work, all of whom supported her during the difficult times that followed her split. This supportive environment made more robust decision-making and emotional healing possible, allowing both to thrive after the divorce. Their story emphasizes the value of developing meaningful relationships outside of romantic relationships by highlighting the strength of community in building resilience and optimistic outlooks. Their dependence on these networks is central to their overarching stories, highlighting the importance of group support in overcoming individual obstacles and boosting mutual enjoyment. Transitioning friendship. After their divorce, Jolie and Thornton maintained their friendship-based relationship, shifting from a romantic one to one based on mutual respect and support. Their changing dynamic emphasizes that friendship can grow out of historical relationships and that uncomfortable separations or lifelong resentments are not necessarily consequences of shared histories. Thornton often talks about his continued regard for Jolie, emphasizing that their bond goes beyond a past romantic relationship. A similar emotion can be seen in Jolie's support of Thornton's endeavors, which recognizes the friendship established through happy and challenging times. Their connection is a reminder that couples can turn a relationship into a lifetime friendship by staying in touch and feeling good about each other without bringing up old grievances. This story encourages those going through a separation to see the possibility of redefining connections and creating paths where friendship adds worth and mutual fondness to the history of partnerships. Through this metamorphosis, Thornton and Jolie demonstrate maturity in upholding affirming relationships, illuminating scenarios in which previous romantic relationships spark enduring, meaningful platonic alliances that go beyond the bounds of passion. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon